everybody, and thank you for joining me today and tuning into part 2 of our series, using aids to increase flexibility or range of motion. So today we're focusing on the foam rolling or using massage aids such as massage sticks or roller balls or foam rollers. You can see I have a variety of different options beside me. Obviously, with us being at home right now, our access to these types of tools, I think, have gone down or decreased. So I will give you some at-home options that you can try. So I'm lucky enough that I do have a foam roller at home with me. The foam rollers come in all kinds of different types and hardnesses or thicknesses or intensities. So this one's a shorter one. You can see this one is quite a bit longer. This one is a little bit cushier, softer, has more pliability to it, so it's a little bit less intense than this one that has some knobby structures to it. There's ones that are even more bigger knobs than this to provide a little bit more intensity. So depending on the muscle that you're rolling and the intensity that you need will depend on what kind of roller that you have. You may also see on the market some massage sticks. I don't have one at home. They tend to be a little bit shorter than this and have a rolling end to it, but this is my rolling pin. You could use a rolling pin at home too to get into those areas that are a little bit awkward to use with your foam roller. And then we also have different types of massage balls or balls to use. So a lacrosse ball is quite common. It is very firm though, so for some individuals and different body parts that might be too intense. This is a massage ball. They do come in different sizes as well. This is a smaller one, but I don't know if you can see, it has more give to it. It's softer. I am able to squish it a little. Some people also use tennis balls, or this is just one of my kids' balls blown up. It has enough tension that I can use it to massage different areas as well. Keeping in mind, I do have a lot of tension or trigger points, so I don't need too much intensity to get a good roll in. So really with foam rolling or any type of aids here, we're talking about a form of self-massage or self-myofascial release. And really what that is we're trying to break down or decrease the adhesions of our fascia. So fascia lies just underneath the skin between the muscle, and it can get a lot of trigger points of tension and actually decrease our range of motion. So by breaking that down, it's thought to increase the temperature of the tissue, increase blood flow to the area, increase neuromuscular efficiency potentially, and resulting in increased mobility. For some, they even use it as a recovery tool. It's thought that it could decrease DOMS or delayed onset muscle soreness. So that's another potential use as well. So today I'm going to take you through some examples of body parts that you can use with rolling, and maybe when to use a roller and when to use a massage ball or a massage stick. To keep things moving quickly, I'm just going to demonstrate and keep going, so you can either pause your video or come back and do it on your own. Foam rolling can take a little while, so if you're doing it on your own, sometimes I'll just choose a few body parts to focus on that day rather than a full body roll. If you have, a half an hour that you can do that, then that's awesome. So we're going to start at the bottom. And for your feet, so you could use a nice hard ball. If you don't have a ball, you can use a hard water bottle or something to roll along your foot. You can do this standing, you can do it sitting while you're watching TV. We're just going to kind of roll along the bottom of the foot, forward and backward, controlling the pressure that you apply. If you feel any trigger points, just kind of pause, apply some pressure before you continue rolling. And then you can also take this side to side. So what you'll find is generally with most of our muscle groups, we want to go across the muscle fibers in different directions. So starting down below, we can start down at our calves. You will find that as you roll, your body temperature is going to go up in general, just because you do have to support your body weight in so many different positions. So with the calves, you can lift your weight off, supporting with your arms, and simply roll from the bottom of your ankles to just below your knee joint. Now the calves tend to be a bit hardier, so you can take just to one side and apply more pressure that way. So I suggest that you start at the base or the bottom or top of a muscle and roll all along its length, pausing at any spots that you feel like you have a trigger point or that sensitive spot before you continue on. Also changing the angle at which you're targeting the muscle. So going to the outside, the main belly, and then shifting to the medial side as well. Okay, once you're done with your calf, we don't really roll over the joints, so you're going to want to move to above the knee joint now so that we can focus on the hamstrings. Again, focusing on starting at the end of the muscle, rolling the full length, pausing at any of those trigger points. Now again, the hamstrings are a bit hardier, so I'm going to go to a single leg, all the way up to the bottom of the bum. And if I do have a trigger point, holding there for 20 to 30 seconds, applying as much pressure as I can handle without it being too painful before I continue on the pass. Again, changing the angle, so coming to the outer part of the hamstring, and then also shifting to the inner fibers as well. Okay. Now from here, I'm going to continue and shift to the outside even more to get to my IT band. Notice that I do have my foot and my hand to control the amount of weight that I want to apply onto the roller. That is what controls the intensity. So you may find towards the bottom or the top that you have more trigger points than right in the belly. So just take it slow through those areas. If you have a real sensitive trigger point, stop there, apply some pressure for 20 to 30 seconds. Let the muscle release and continue on. Ooh, there we go. Now, around the hip, there is one point that I want you to kind of be mindful of. Around the greater trochanter, or kind of the point of the hip, the ball and socket joint, you do have some bursa sacs that are there, so if you do roll too aggressively over that area, it could become aggravated and inflamed. So I tend just to avoid rolling over that spot. Once I'm done with my IT band, I'm going to roll over onto my glutes. Again, you can start with a general roll over both sides, from your sit bones to kind of the top of the pelvis. And then I do recommend trying to take an approach, crossing your leg over and getting a little bit more at an angle, kind of where your piriformis muscle is, or right in the center. And if you do have any tight or tense spots, there's one. Just kind of hang out there for a minute. Control the intensity by the amount of weight that you allow to press on. And then kind of work that area out a little bit more. You may find that certain body parts need a little bit more attention than others, and that's totally normal. So make sure you do both sides. From there, you can flip over to do the front of the lower limbs. So you can take this in through the hip flexor and the quads. Again, rolling from the top to the bottom and controlling the amount of pressure by either going to a single limb again, going to more of an inner thigh and an outer thigh roll. And if you want, you can even take this into kind of the adductor hip flexor area. So for that, you'd want to take your foam roller on an angle a little bit. Supporting your weight with your hands and your opposing leg, and just letting it roll along the inner thigh, the adductors. Like I said, this isn't necessarily the most graceful activity or exercise. You do have to throw around your body weight quite a bit. Now, if you find it too awkward to use the foam roller, if you have a massage stick, that might be a good use for this part, either the hamstrings or also the inner thigh. Applying the same technique, kind of rolling from top to bottom, spending more time on those trigger points. Okay? You can also take this up into the back. I tend to avoid rolling the lower back or the lumbar spine. Unless you're specifically prescribed by that, I tend not to prescribe it to my clients. It usually doesn't feel the greatest, so I go right into kind of the thoracic spine. So for that, just kind of bottom of the ribs or underneath the shoulder blades. You can just control your intensity by lifting your hips up off the floor and starting with a gentle roll to the top of the shoulders. I like to take a few passes with my elbows wide. And then also a few passes with my elbows up. And that shifts the weight or the focus a little bit more closer to my spine. Awesome. You can roll over a little bit onto your side to get kind of more of the lats underneath the armpit there, starting either at the top or lower down. Again, using your legs and your arms to support the weight, lifting your hip up. Just kind of roll the side of that shoulder blade, shifting your weight under the armpit, focusing on any of those tender spots. You could also take this into a tricep. I do find it hard to get enough pressure on the floor, so you could take it to a tabletop and lean into it that way, or you could take it up against the wall. For the chest, you can flip over and use your roller on the floor. Personally, I like to take one of the massage balls and go up against the wall. Just so you can see, it'll be hard when I turn away from you, but what I'm going to try with the chest is really to go across, working my way down under the armpit a little bit, and then also changing the direction of that massage vertically as well, and maybe a little bit into a circular pattern. You can even just simply use the ball to massage. That could work well as well. So taking it to the wall, between you and the wall, and just adjusting your body to target those areas that need a little bit more attention. I tend to also avoid the upper neck or the cervical spine, but one area that I do like to get is up through the traps and surrounding areas of the neck. And you can use that with a ball, either just with your hand. Sometimes works just as well in massaging those areas. For me, they're so tight. Or taking an angle up against the wall and just again gently going back and forth, and also changing the direction in which you're targeting those fibers. Pausing if you have any real of those tight spots, trigger points. Hold it there for 20 to 30 seconds and then slowly work it back out. Awesome. So I think that's all the time I have to show you today. Thank you again for joining me. I hope you're able to give these techniques a try, whether it's with a roller, a ball, a massage stick. If you missed our part 1 series using bands and straps, go back and check that out. And these are all great ways to help you gain a little bit more flexibility or range of motion. Until